and welcome to Blackfeather Guild. Before we go in and say hi to the cast and get started with the show, I wanted to talk very briefly about viewer actions and a little bit about sponsors. So first off, there's a number of ways that you can actually actively participate in the show through viewer actions. One of the easiest ways to do so is through retweeting the game tweet. You should see that somewhere in chat if it's not in there already. But you just click on that link and hit retweet, and for every 5 retweets that we get on that, it will add a bonus to the cast pool and the game master pool. Now, in most cases, that's going to be an extra d6 that they can add on to any roll. Basically, a great way to use that is if a player is almost meeting a DC, but they're just not quite there, they can grab one of those d6s from the cast pool, roll that, and then add that to their roll. Basically, is how that works. Same with the GM. So that's one of the easiest ways that you can participate that way. Another way is through guild coins. That's our Twitch channel points. If you look at the rainbow colored icon, it should have the Blackfeather Guild crest on it. It should be right below your Twitch chat box. If you click on that, it'll show you all the different things that you can get with those. The biggest one being plot points. Now, plot points, you can see an example right over here. They all work pretty much the same way. It's just a matter of how big of an impact they have. So for the example, when we've got 2 plot points, the player of your choice gets something moderately helpful or unhelpful. Enter any suggestions for the GM into chat, or you can have the GM come up with something entirely on their own. So just choose if you want it to be helpful or unhelpful to the party, and that's kind of how you can use them. You can throw in your own suggestions as well. How those work: 1 plot point is something trivially helpful or unhelpful. 2 is moderately, 3 is very, and 4 is very to the entire party. So if you want to do something to help the entire party or really throw a monkey wrench in their plans, 4 plot points will do that. So that's guild coins. And then finally, we've got donations. So if you want to help out with keeping the lights on in the place, so to speak, there's a number of ways that you can financially contribute. One of those being coffee.com/Raven or raven.rocks. You can see both of those examples down there at the bottom. Those are the addresses to do direct donations. You can also do Twitch subscriptions or bits. Those work the same way. And then finally, Patreon. We've got a Patreon, which you should see in chat here any second if it's not there already. And our Bard tier patrons and higher get credits towards viewer actions every month that they can use on any show that they would like. You just have to let us know in chat how you want to spend those, and then we'll hand those out. So some very cool stuff. Before we hop over to see the cast, one last thing to mention is a couple things on this chart here. We've already covered the D6 and the plot points, but the triple crits, what that means is you can gift auto critical successes. And you can, it's triple because you get 3. You can divvy those out however you'd like. You can do 2 to the cast, 1 to the game master, all of them to the game master, however you want to do it. So they work much like the D6s. The cast members just grab that when they're available and they really need them and use them. So it's pretty cool. And then finally, the last one, introduce an ally or enemy NPC. Just give us a brief description of what you want this character to look like, kind of their character concept and a name, and let us know if you want it to be an enemy or an ally to the party, and the GM will basically take that and run with it. So really cool ways that you can participate. Lastly, I just want to take a quick moment to mention our sponsors. If you look at the logos down below, that's who's sponsoring this episode, and we'll talk a little bit about that before we introduce everybody as well on the next scene. So yeah, check all this stuff out, and thank them for supporting us, and thank you for being here and watching. Let's go say hi to the cast. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome for another episode of Exodus, the Sunken City. Um, I'm excited to see what happens tonight because we're all gonna die, or something. um, yeah. Before we hop in, quick note on sponsors: Fundamental RPG and Grinding Coffee Company. I'll throw that information there in chat in just a second. And then lots of stuff's popping off on Patreon um, this month, so definitely check that out as well. Again, I'll have the link in chat. And then, yeah, I'll go ahead and pass it off to Vanessa to do our introductions here.
Perfect. Hello. I am Vanessa. I am the GM for this game. This is Exodus, like Raven said. I play everybody who is not one of our other players, which at the moment is not very many, but we'll get there, I'm sure. I am primarily a traditional artist. I work in watercolor and pencil sketch. And lately, I've also been getting more into digital art, and I will post some links there if you guys would like to take a look at my stuff. I post the game related art, anything to do with characters, some Star Wars stuff if you're into that. But yeah, so let us meet our cast. Raven, where do you usually start? Like, what are we going counterclockwise? We go clockwise? What feels
Actually,
right?
I usually start in the top left, which would actually be me.
Yeah, all
this
right,
time.
you go ahead then.
All right, so I'm Raven. I do everything tabletop related from game design to professional GMing to voice acting and all sorts of stuff. I also do composite art and graphic design and a whole bunch of other things. You can find out all about what I do at my Twitter, which is right below my face. And of course, this is my channel, so I'm here several times a week as well. And then I play Niklaus Sebastian Adama, who's a very fancy, wealthy scientist from the top side. And he's currently down with his young ward, Sid, down in the Sunken City, trying to find information about what are we calling it in here? Kane.
Yes.
I started playing the game, and now, of course, I'm starting to mix up the terms. It's Kane, because unbeknownst to anyone else, Niklaus has become affected by the use of it. So he's doing research to try to essentially cure himself, and find ways to make lots more money. He's kind of an asshole, but he's an eloquent one. So that.
The worst
That's
kind.
Yeah. Yeah, that's me.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So next we will go down to Yasmin. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your character.
I am Yasmin. I am a graphic illustrator and designer, primarily for apparel. I do a lot of TTRPG art and stuff and sell it on my website, which I will pop in the chat box. I play Bambi Darling. Bambi is the shining young starlet of Exodus, about 10 years too late. And she, to overcompensate for her feeling of being a washed up starlet, she has a love affair with many people, but mostly with Kate.
Good way to put it. Perfect. All right. So next we will move to Rowan. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your character.
Hello. That was weird. Hello, I'm Rowan North. I'm a freelance illustrator and freelance art educator, and I am playing as Pepper McGillicuddy. Pepper is from the rich people of the town, like some of the founding families that were invited in to Exodus. Her grandfather was very rich, and so she had a very, very nice upbringing, and her grandfather used to do a lot of hunting. And because of that, she has her late grandfather's 2 hunting dogs, and she tends to hallucinate and think people are animals. Yay!
Yay!
Love that
Yay!
for her.
Yeah!
As you do.
As you do!
Just casually, right?
Mhm.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Rowan. And last but certainly not least, Riley, tell us a little bit about yourself and your character.
Hi, I'm Riley. I'm a knit and crochet designer and blogger and stuff like that. Currently, I have stuff on our YouTube if you want to learn how to knit or crochet. So you could check that out. We're going to be doing a scarf class here in a little bit. But as for the game, Sid, I play Sid Raslow. She's Niklaus's ward / apprentice. Very much intrigued by science and technology and machines. Doesn't really understand people, and doesn't really understand like a lot of social cues or like difference between right and wrong. So she's totally has no questions if Niklaus says to do something for science. So, pretty good setup there. Very good at murdering
I'm
people.
just asking for science is pretty much how Sid operates.
Like, I think you just need to find me a cadaver for science. Okay.
That makes sense.
To quote a character from Overwatch, certain sacrifices must be made in the name of science.
Yep.
Naturally.
So
that is definitely fitting for Sid and Niklaus. So I'm excited. All right. So last time we left off with everybody on the top floor of the atrium. And this is the building that sits right next to the Welcome Center. So Niklaus and Sid were able to find the location of the lighthouse based on some coordinates that Niklaus got by radio. Anastasia was the one sending out the SOS call, and she was able to patch through some coordinates. And you guys successfully found the spot where she was leading you and took a bathysphere down into the city. So that bathysphere came into the Welcome Center, kind of give you a little bit of a taste of the view of the city with those big windows that are right there as soon as you step out of the bathysphere. Came face to face with your first taste of a splicer as well, until Anastasia saved you, thankfully. You guys went into the atrium, took a little bit of a look around, ended up going up on the elevator, saw some mysterious figures standing in the wings, and found Bambi on the 12th floor of the atrium building, which is also referred to as Artemis Gardens. You were able to meet up with Bambi as well as Pepper, who came in with her dogs. And currently the party is all on the 12th floor of the atrium, and that's where we pick up. So Pepper comes in and sees this group of people. I know that we rolled last time to see if Pepper recognized them as people or as animals, and was successful.
She saw them as people, yes.
Yep. So she was good. She's not going to hunt them, so that's perfect. You also did see this big hulking creature appear out of nowhere and chase off the 2 splicers that were harassing Bambi.
Well, I didn't see it, but everyone else did.
Yes, true. Everybody else saw that. Pepper came in a little bit later, so she missed that party. So before we move on, do you guys want to chat? Do you have anything to say to Pepper?
So Pepper did address Anastasia when we left off last time. She did say, "Wait, I know you."
Yes.
So
yes, and I believe Anastasia also kind of looked at her and was like, "Oh yeah, you."
And yeah, that's kind of where we ended last time, I think, without there being much explanation.
Yeah, there was no resolution to that.
No, not at all.
I don't think that Anastasia is going to say much else about it unless Pepper prompts. So yeah, she looks at Pepper and she's like,
Now-
you.
Out of character, I do actually have a question, and that
Yes.
how much would Pepper have had experience with Anastasia? How much did Anastasia work with her grandfather? Like, what kind of level of environment here?
So I think
blind.
that they would definitely know of each other. They would have crossed paths a few times. Anastasia, she used to work as a nurse. So
Okay.
yeah, if there were patients, if there was any reason for, say, for example, Pepper's grandfather to call on a nurse privately, it might have been Anastasia who was sent to kind of to deal with that. So I would say they probably know of each other.
So it's entirely possible that Anastasia was there when her grandfather died. And basically was growing ill and died as everything kind of broke out and was going crazy. So
yes, I would say so.
So yeah, so it's likely that while Pepper was busy taking care of things in town and things like that, taking care of things for her grandfather, Anastasia was there with the grandfather. So they basically had some back and forth, but she knows how to associate her with her grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that answers my question. Thank you.
Okay, good stuff. So that's where Anastasia leaves it. She does not offer anything else. She kind of looks not relieved to see Pepper, but appreciative that Pepper is still alive, I guess would be the best way to put it, considering the circumstances of the city.
It's entirely possible that she has seen Pepper or knew Pepper was around before then. But Pepper isn't always lucid, I guess.
Yeah. And I suppose too, things change so quickly with everybody attacking each other all the time. So if there was any long period of time in between seeing her, then it would have been entirely possible that Pepper bit the dust.
Yeah.
So her expression reflects that. Like she's interested to see that Pepper is still there in whatever capacity that she is still mentally there. She is at least physically there.
But Pepper does seem pretty lucid, so she actually says, "Funny, I don't know how much nursing you can do nowadays. I guess you're kind of out of a job. I'm sorry."
That prompts a little smile from Anastasia, and she kind of laughs a little bit. It seems that she is a lot warmer towards Pepper than she was towards the newcomers. But she does offer a smile, and she kind of says, well, I do what I can to help people now, but like you said, there's not very much that can be done. But when it calls for it, I try my best.
Question about surroundings. Are there corpses around?
Good question. There are no
corpses.
No, there are no corpses in the immediate vicinity. You do know, however, that that big hulking creature just chased off 2 splicers, and there were very wet sounds coming from the room with lots of screaming. So it wouldn't be hard to find some if you are so inclined to do so. But no, not in the immediate vicinity. Good. Okay. So Anastasia turns back to Bambi. What is Bambi doing in all of this? She was just harassed by 2 crazy splicers. How's she feeling?
Bambi looks, for the most part, really well put together. But the moment the attention is turned back on her, she wilts and pouts and is like, that was so scary. And she faints towards Sid, thinking that Sid is a young, strong, strapping gentleman.
Sid is still holding all of the bags. And
I forgot about that.
Sid just steps to the side and just lets Bambi fall on the floor.
You have never seen somebody fall so gracefully. She just like a little wisp or a piece of grass just toppling over. And like she doesn't even make a sound as she falls. And she just looks up and pouts even more. And she's like, oh, at least I got my shoes. And she laughs and like kind of
She
dances with the shoes.
Pepper looks at you. It's like, are you related to a fainting goat? What? I'm.
Bambi just like stares at Pepper in like that awkward, I don't have anything good or bad to tell you, but I'm staring at you.
While this is happening, Anastasia is kind of just rolling her eyes. She does recognize Bambi. She knows who Bambi is. You know, kind of the same, a little bit of the same expression bleeds into her while she's looking at Bambi, where it's kind of like, oh, it's actually quite nice to see that you are still alive. We're not best friends or anything, but I do recognize you. You are someone that I know. So therefore, I am glad to see that you are still kicking. But she does roll her eyes at Bambi's theatrics and holds out a hand to pull Bambi to her feet.
Bambi pouts one more time, and then she gets up.
Real quick, we got 5 interactions on the game tweet, so that's a D6 to the cast. Right, put that there, and then we've got a donation from Michael. Thank you so much for that $3 donation for 1 plot point. And the suggestion for the plot point is that there is an old movie poster on the wall when Bambi was younger, found at some point.
Sweet. Oh my god. It might be a poster Bambi was in. I don't know.
Would anybody other than
that's the implication.
That is the point, I think.
Would anybody other than Bambi have like said anything about Sid just like stepping out of the way or anything? Just
not Pepper.
Not Anastasia either.
Yeah, Niklas just gives Sid like a nod of approval. That's about it.
Yeah. Sid just like looks confused at Bambi, turns to Niklas, sees the nod, and just like seems very satisfied with herself.
So in relation to Michael's suggestion, it would be like reminiscent of a movie poster. Definitely one of those like starlet posters. However, it is not for a movie. It's for a very specific lounge in the entertainment district. And yes, it is Bambi. It's a poster from her starting years when she was the talk of the town. It is dirty and ripped, and you know, it has definitely seen better days, but it is there, and it's hanging on the wall of the 12th floor of the atrium, where there are a lot of different shops and restaurants and things. So, you know, when people would have been coming down to Exodus to begin with, they would have landed in the Welcome Center. And posters like these might have been a lot more common then, showing off different areas of the city and what you might expect to find, and kind of pushing the population towards the entertainment district. Like, come on in, everything down here is fine, it's all peachy keen, try our entertainment district, there's something there for everybody. So I think her image would definitely be in the atrium, pushing that population to go to the entertainment district. It's seen better days, but it is definitely still there.
I would like to note that Bambi actually actively and purposely does not look at it.
Interesting.
Heartbreak.
Reminding her of better days, of what was lost.
All right. I will never be again. And also, we're not quite ready for a Bambi breakdown just yet.
We're still saving up for that one.
Niklaus is kind of purposefully staying quiet and observing and taking some notes here and there.
The one thing that you are going to notice is that Anastasia never keeps her back to Niklaus. Wherever she is standing, she is at least partially turned in his direction. She will never turn her back to him, even when they were downstairs in the atrium. Even if it was a little weird to look at, she would have always been angling her body so that I guess essentially it would never have been possible for him to sneak up behind her. So that is definitely something that is present. She does not turn her back to him.
Niklaus will remember this.
Your choices will affect the gameplay.
So
Niklaus will remember this.
Speaking of, actually, Pepper brings up, I guess, one of the things that Anastasia noticed earlier. It's like, it's so funny to see so many humans in one place.
Anastasia is still smiling, but her expression tightens a little bit. And
they're like a party or something that I haven't
Did you
heard about.
say party?
Oh goodness, here do we go?
Immediately,
All right.
Bambi's attention is back on you.
Bambi, sweetheart, could you just calm down for 1 second, please? So she turns
sighs dramatically and turns away from Anastasia.
Anastasia kind of makes eye contact with everyone in the group, and she points to a door that's not too far from them, and she says, "It's a very good question, Pepper, and I would like to have the opportunity to explain to you what is happening. But right now we are not safe and we have to move, or else I fear that there might not be very, very many of us for very long. So if you would come and let us get to somewhere that is a little bit safer."
All right.
How does that sound?
All right. We wouldn't want to get mauled, after all. Certainly. You lead the way.
That does seem like the wisest course of action.
Perfect. All right. So you guys make off for the door. Is there anything that you want to do before you guys head out? Like, do you want to take a peek around of the nearest surroundings, or are you guys good to go?
Was Bambi's search for really fine ass clothing completed, or was she interrupted?
Interrupted with the shoes, probably.
Yeah, I'd say she probably has shoes. That's about it.
Okay. Are there shop fronts on the 12th floor?
Yes.
She's gonna be like, hold on, and just like Bambi, like the Disney character Bambi, prance in her tippy toe high heels, making the little click clack click clack noise to the next shop and go and roots through what's there, pulling out something silky and then coming back to them, all smiles.
Perfect.
Sid? Oh, Rowan, you're muted.
So we have a lion and a deer in one place. Interesting company that we keep around here, I'd say.
I have a quick question. As Bambi is like prancing around like that, does anybody happen to be looking at Niklaus's face?
Sid would have for a moment.
Okay. And I think Sid might see like a facial tick, like just a little twitch, like a corner of the mouth, like coming up, not like quite like a smile, but almost like trying to fight back a smile before going back to his normal stoic face.
Wow, I hate it. Thank you for that addition.
Oh goodness.
So Sid would want to kind of look around a little bit and possibly like looks longingly down towards the direction where like that hulking figure chased those two spliced men. And just kind of like would keep looking back at Niklaus just a little bit like, can I go? Can I go? Can I go look?
Sorry, go look at what was it?
Where the hulking figure took those two splicers.
Oh,
Chased them off. They were chased down the hall into one of the storefronts.
and she's asking Niklaus.
Yeah, just kind of like with her eyes, like, can I go look really quick?
I think Niklaus would look down at Sid and go, probably not time for pictures, so just take good notes. Hurry back.
So Sid will like put down the luggage and like just kind of scurry off in that direction to go look.
Well, they're gonna be eaten.
Anastasia immediately looks like incredulous. Like she has literally just told you guys that they need to get somewhere safe. And Bambi is off looking for clothing, and now Sid wants to peep the dead bodies. Like she's ready to dump y'all on the front step.
So Anastasia, right? That's
Yes.
your friends are they have a death wish.
Well, you're not wrong. That's for certain. I would not call them friends, but you
Yes.
are definitely. Well, we'll see. As you say, they are looking to be eaten, so they might not be alive long enough to become friends.
I would say more like new acquaintances. And by the way, it's quite rude to talk about people in the third person when they're standing right next to you. As
well, I
for Sid,
wasn't
she's
really.
quite
I haven't
capable
really
of
talked
handling
about
herself.
you yet because you haven't run off to somewhere with a death wish yet. But eventually, if you do, then you are included in the statement. It makes sense.
Grand.
So at this point,
Starts taking down notes
Anastasia.
again.
At this point, Anastasia is looking a little nervous. She, despite the jokes and the, haha, they might not be alive long enough to be friends. She does start to look like, okay, we need to leave. Everybody pack up your snacks. Let's go.
Back up your snacks.
Question: does Sid find anything?
So Sid goes into the room where the big figure chased the two splicers. Sid would not see the big figure, but there are two mangled bodies on the ground, and they look like they've been run through with a giant drill. Like their torsos are just completely destroyed. It's as if something blew a hole right through them.
Sid pulls out her like notebook and like pencil and just starts like scribbling some things down and like takes the back of the pencil and like prods the wound and then like dots it into her notebook.
Interesting.
And then it's just gonna search them for pocket change.
I will get you to roll for to investigate. Let's see if you find something good.
Let's see. Okay. Investigate. Oh, dang it. That's a 3.
You find like 2 $1 bills in one guy's pocket and like 1 in the other guy. Like they did not have a lot.
Find gum.
Yeah, and it's chewed.
And it's and a mint flavor.
he was saving it for later, so he put the chewed wad like inside his breast pocket. That's what you find: $3 and a chewed piece of gum.
God.
Just before we move on, I would also just like to put like a little warning, I guess, before we continue, that the source material for this game is not pretty. So if at any point you guys feel uncomfortable, or if any of our lovely audience feels uncomfortable, definitely feel free to speak up, and then we can move right along. But there will be sections where, there will be some major wounds and things like that. So if at any point you feel uncomfortable, just let us know and I will move us quickly along. Sound good?
Here for it.
Yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. I just wanted to bring that up because I didn't expect Sid to go poking bodies. But good thing that we got on that topic early on, just so that I could kind of give you guys a little heads up, and for anybody who's watching, just in case you're uncomfortable. But yeah, we can definitely speed along on that front. But just be aware that it is there, and we might come across it pretty often. All right, so Sid, do you head back now?
Sid will take a look around the room really quick before heading back.
I would say that you are probably in another clothing store. The most common stores around the atrium or Artemis Garden is like shops for like clothing, accessories. There's a couple of restaurants along the lower levels, some spas, like some basic spas for people who are coming in. I would say that you're probably in like a clothing store, probably nothing super fancy. But you can roll to investigate to see if you find anything of note.
11.
11. I would say you probably don't really find much of super interest, but you might be able to, if the cash register is left open, for example, it could be that if you lift up the tray, the money tray inside the register, you do find another $5.
Sweet.
Excellent. So after
Now
that,
I'll go back.
Sweet. Okay, sounds good. So once Sid comes back, Bambi, are you returned to the group?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Anastasia is kind of jittery. She's not exactly tapping her foot, but she's kind of got that bouncy motion to her. If she had a watch on her wrist, she would probably be checking it.
Bambi is going to very casually reach out and pat her shoulder and be like, "Boss, it's gonna be okay. Don't sweat it. Ain't nothing. We'll get on our way just as soon as they totter on back."
Anastasia is like, oh boy. She, at this point in the game, she tolerates Bambi. Because Bambi is Bambi, so she's all right. She tolerates her. So when Sid gets back, Anastasia extracts herself from Bambi's patting, and she starts making her way to the door, expecting you guys to follow. She doesn't look back, but she does put some distance in between you. She's still keeping that space with her back turned.
Yeah, I'd say that her nervousness is actually running off, like rubbing off on Pepper. So she's like adjusting her like gun or whatever, and no finger on the trigger or whatever, but she's fidgeting with the lock, and it's probably causing the dogs to fret a bit too when Pepper's fretting. Because we kind of has some sense.
True. We actually didn't talk much about the dogs. While we're walking, do any of you say anything about the dogs? Do you react to the dogs in any way?
I think Bambi would be, to be perfectly honest, Bambi would be like, "Oh, fuzzy animals. Your fur, I love the way you said so that. Pretty. Wouldn't you just make a lovely coat?" I'm kidding. I would never do that to a dog.
They're glaring at you.
Suddenly, Bambi is Cruella. Like, calm down, lady.
Niklas pretty much summarily ignores them unless they get close to him, in which case he might bop them on the nose with his cane.
Not enough to hurt the dog, but just enough to get their attention to make them go away.
Yeah, I mean, if he does bop them, they would probably snap at his cane or him, but they're not gonna like outright attack him or anything. So
Yeah, it's more of like a shove, like a go away.
yeah,
Than
still they don't
like a whack, but
they don't like that. So yeah.
All right. So you guys come up on this door. It is a heavy set door made completely out of metal. Some more of that intricate designing that Niklaus and Sid would have seen up in the lighthouse. These beautiful inlays, it's very reminiscent of like Greek and Roman art. They tell a story. Whether you know what the story is or not, you can still follow the designs in there and kind of make what you will out of it. But for the most part, I mean, like these doors are still intact. They're built to withstand. And you do see why as you make your way through the door, which kind of like raises as you go by, and you're able to go through it. And on the other side is a sort of, I guess the best way to describe it is like a transportation hub. It's kind of similar to the bathysphere station that you guys arrived in. So you can see through the glass that there's a couple of bathyspheres set in there already. They're ready to be used. The doors are closed behind them the way the door would have slid shut behind your bathysphere when you came in downstairs. And it's quiet. There's nobody in there. Anastasia moves straight up to whatever control panel is there. There's a little control section that, when the place was populated, someone was probably there as a day job. They probably were in charge of making sure that everything was running smoothly. Think bus routes, but underwater. So she makes her way over to this little station, which is closed off in kind of like its own little room. But there are windows. There's glass in the windows there. Kind of reminiscent of like a ticket booth, like an old school movie ticket booth, where there's like the little metal dip, the little tray in there, so people would have like slid money in to pay for bathysphere and fast transport routes and stuff like that. And the door is open. It's off its hinges. There's no door. She just walks right on into it. And she seems to be in there for a couple minutes, trying to figure out what the best way to do this is. Doesn't take her an extremely long time, but eventually she does come back out. And the set of doors in front of one of the bathyspheres opens up. And then the porthole on the front of the bathysphere is open. So you guys are able to walk on into it.
Cool.
Okay.
During the time that she was taking to do that, Bambi swapped her new shoes out, picked at her nails, and finished the little song that she sang as she was walking with everybody towards the bathyspheres, which I posted the link in the Twitch chat if anyone's interested.
Oh, what is it?
It's La Vie and Rose. I can't speak French. I'm so sorry.
I love that song. It's a very, very good song.
I would attempt to sing it, but I unfortunately would butcher the language because I have absolutely no experience with it.
Luckily for you, there is an English version of the song, so maybe you'll have to learn that and sing it for us next time.
Okay, baby. You make me all nervous.
Baby, no.
Anyways, Once the bathyspheres are ready, Pamby, in her new swing shoes and her floor-length silk robe that she's wrapped around her shoulders like a dress, struts into the bathysphere.
Oh, Niklas is going to go like somewhere in the middle.
I think Pepper is going to go last and just like keep an eye on everyone. Plus, she has 2 dogs that can fit around everyone else, and just kind of like points her gun in places. She's still on edge from just echoing Anastasia's on edgeness. So
Sid just eyes Pepper as she backs into the bathysphere.
oh, don't look at me like that. I'm not gonna shoot you. Why would I shoot you? You're just a kid.
Famous last words. Once everybody is inside and Pepper is still waiting there, Anastasia will come up to the door of the bathysphere and kind of like briefly put a hand on Pepper's shoulder to kind of like soothe a little bit of the nerves because she has gotten hers under control. So she just kind of like tries to give some of that to Pepper as well, but motions for her to get on in the bathysphere with her doggies.
Being touched, she does start and just kind of whirls around, but then points the gun at the ground and like, oh, sorry. Nerves.
Anastasia does not look phased. She doesn't say anything. Like her happy expression doesn't change.
Okay, so Pepper does follow them in once everyone's inside. Yeah.
Perfect.
Niklas
So
still
with
taking notes and just kind of mutters, complete lack of gun safety training. Just muttering to himself.
when you work with someone and it's just like your coworker can literally just breathe too loud and you're like, God, shut the fuck up. That's how I feel towards Niklas.
Oh.
Like every time he says something, I'm like, do you mind? I'm sorry, Niklas, would you like to run this game?
Oh, yes, he would.
Niklas
Probably.
absolutely would. Yeah. If Niklas
I
were
love
aware
it.
that he was in a game, he'd be like, yes, please, I'm sure I could do a much better job. But Niklas is
Oh,
not.
no.
Yes, absolutely. I'm gonna fight him, and
Hey,
as the
listen.
GM, I have more power.
Listen, but that could change on a dime with that switcheroo.
It's
option.
true, it could.
True.
But no,
So, hey, listen,
to
donators, do it. No, I'm kidding.
and I'm going to
Subversive
clarify.
TTRPG, 5 GMs, 1 player.
One player.
That would be
Oh my
total
God.
mess.
That's an idea.
I think
I
we're
love
probably gonna have to do like a 1-shot and implement that.
That
It's just
sounds
us yes
like a hidden
anding.
role game, and you don't know who the player and who the GM is.
Every session
Yeah.
is session 0.
No,
But listen,
I'm just imagining
listen,
us yes
I
anding
have
all
to
the
clarify
way.
something. Niklaus thinks that he could do a better job GMing. I think Vanessa's doing a fantastic job GMing this. So I have
Thank
to
you.
clarify that.
We just Niklaus can't sit with us. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't blame you. He's an asshole.
All right. So we are all inside the bathysphere. Finally, it's taken us 3 hours to do so.
Just
The dogs are situated. Everybody is packed pretty close, but it's not like I have to stand up on the bus packed between 700 other people. It's just you guys are snug. So Anastasia comes into the bathysphere. She closes the door behind her, makes sure that it is locked before stepping away from the door again. And it takes a moment, just as the bathysphere downstairs kind of took a couple minutes to start her engines, open that door for you guys. This one takes a minute before the back doors open, and essentially lets water in. You guys just get that rush of seawater coming in.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Bambi shrieks. Like that shrill, terrible sound of a girl getting her nails ruined right after walking out of the salon.
Oh my God.
Is this supposed to happen? I don't recall them doing this.
No, everything is fine. Don't worry. She looks at Bambi and she's like, with her eyes just telling Bambi to shut up.
So,
Bambi's crying.
quick clarification: was the water coming into the sphere or around the sphere?
Around the sphere. Not in, no.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no.
Okay, no.
Let me clarify
I mean,
that.
Bambi still shrieks, but she's not losing her shit as long as she's dry.
Yes, no, sorry, I don't want you to make you think you are all dying.
we
The
drowning?
bathysphere,
We are. No.
the bathysphere is fine. The water is rushing into that little closed off space. With the doors, sorry, the doors close in front of you, and the bathysphere is sealed, and the doors behind you open.
It's like an airlock.
Yes. Sorry, that's my bad. I did not clarify enough.
You're
you
good.
are
I
not.
should have asked questions before I
You're
started
not dying.
speaking.
I promise.
I'm dying.
Is yes, Raven. It is essentially like an airlock. The front doors close, the bathysphere is sealed, the back doors open and fill with water. So once Bambi is done screaming like a banshee, the bathysphere starts to move, and it moves out of the atrium building and follows a charted path. So this bathysphere route is one of the main routes that is serviced by this transport hub, and it follows a path through the city. To the north of the city. And what I will do is I will pull up the map on Roll20 if you would like to take a look at it. Where is Roll20?
While we're traveling, I think Niklaus will lean over to Bambi and acting like a true, just perfect gentleman, trying to console Bambi, going, "It's quite all right to see water's just going around the sphere and just traveling. We're quite safe in here."
There is an expression on Bambi as she kind of assesses you for a moment, or Niklaus for a moment, and her expression kind of stalls out as she's thinking. Like you could see the gears turning behind her eyes, and then she just kind of melts onto your shoulder and pets your chest, and she says, "Oh, thank you. I don't know if I could keep it together without you."
Oh my gosh.
Hamming it up.
That's all right.
I have a quick question for
Yeah.
Sid. Would the use of cane cause somebody's body fluids to smell different or people to smell different?
That is a good question. It might be so if you are a vampire. But I don't think there is any noticeable difference. Just on a basic level.
Okay.
There's nothing really. It's more so the agent in the substance itself basically rewrites DNA strands. So it's not that there's any it's a very specific change that is being made to your body. Like these cells are changing the fundamental strands of your DNA
Mhm.
So I don't think there would be any smell or scent to that.
Okay. And then Rowan, question
Very
for
interesting
you.
question.
Thank you. Rowan, how old is the gun that you're carrying?
It's pretty old. Let's see. Her grandfather was in his I would say probably around like 1920s, 1910s. Um at at the least. It might even date back to the 1880s.
Okay, so you are now Sid's best friend. Sid is very close to you in your personal space, just looking at your gun.
And Pepper's like, "Oh, hello. Oh yes, quite a beauty, isn't it? It was my grandfather's, you know.
How
Before well, I think you can assume.
old man died.
Well, yes. Obviously, I mean, yes. But also, if you haven't noticed, all the um animals just broke out and started, wrecking everything, destroying everyone. It's been a rough time, and he was quick to go after all of that started. So, you know,
Animals.
well, yes. Well, I mean, what else would you call them?
Animals. What kind of animals are down here? I haven't seen any animals yet. I just barely got here.
Oh, well, all sorts. I assumed that they were keeping them perhaps as like they were keeping livestock because they have they have to eat. We have to eat down here, so why not keep like cows and chickens and stuff? It's certainly more sustainable than say waiting for things all to come from the surface, and that kind of defeats the purpose anyways, right? Um, but there were all sorts of other animals that were there too. I mean, there's wild dogs, uh, all sorts. I think someone was trying to start a zoo, or uh,
Hmm.
maybe some sort of Noah's Ark situation. You'll see them. You'll see them. They're wild as anything, and most likely gonna try to kill you. So, yeah, it's best to shoot them on sight. Mm.
Sid is now like admiring the gun again. Is like, do you have another one of these?
No, 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 no. I don't think I do. This was actually it's supposed to be decor, but I ended up, not using it as decor. It was my grandfather's old gun. I think I've already said that. I'm so terribly sorry. Um, but yeah, he did have other things. I do have his hunting knives and skinning knives and things of that sort, and they're very, very useful. Um, very useful. So he had a whole bunch of other old things too, like old taxidermy and old books. Oh my, his library. I should go back there sometime soon. It's just been difficult with the current situation. I'm quite often on the move.
Anastasia is just listening to Pepper talk. And you can kind of like see that she is exerting her patience. Uh, it's not that she does not want Pepper to talk, but there's still some of that residual tension, despite her trying to kind of relieve some of that from Pepper earlier before they got into the bathysphere. So she's got that like the look that kindergarten teachers put on their faces when the children are being really annoying, but they're 5 and you can't really say anything to a 5-year-old because they're just being 5. But yeah, she's listening patiently, and kind of glancing over at Sid every now and then to see what Sid is doing.
What?
Sid
Just
was
listening.
just, like,
Yeah.
Sid was listening, but kind of like was also taking notes, and then very much like you could see the wheels turning as they're just staring at this gun, trying to figure out like, huh.
So can you guys see the map on Roll20? Did I do it
Yes.
correctly?
You sure
Okay.
did.
Yes.
So the number 1 dot there, so the very large one off to the side, the left side, that was the lighthouse. That connecting line to number 1 was the bathysphere route. And then there's the building there, and then next to it would have been the atrium, and then the point number 2 is the transport hub. So that is where you just left, and you are going up towards number 3.
So at this point, actually, Pepper turns her attention to Anastasia, and she's like, "Oh yes, you didn't quite tell me what was." I'm sorry, I smacked my microphone there. I'm so sorry. You didn't quite tell me what's going on. Like what am I missing here? Is this some sort of party? Are we actually trying to escape?
I guess a little bit of both. I'm sure we can have a party. She kind of smiles a minute. Bambi, shut up. She kind of offers like a half-hearted smile to Pepper, but then she goes serious again, and she turns her body to Pepper. Previously, it was angled. She's still keeping with the fact that she does not want her back to Niklaus, because already he does not rub her the right way, so she wants to keep an eye on him. Yeah, so she turns to kind of address everybody, and she takes a deep breath and says, I will get into detail as soon as we are somewhere safer. However, I have been putting out an SOS signal for a very long time, to see if we could get anybody to help us. It's taken this long, and I'm grateful that at last someone has heard us and is coming to help. I guess I was expecting more people to come and help. So right now we are going to deal with what we have been dealt. We have dealt with much harder up until this point anyway. So I think we can figure this out. We're going to get out of here. Of that I'm certain.
Sid shoots Niklaus a quick questioning glance when Anastasia says something about like, oh, people came to help us and save us.
Niklaus just sort of does like a play along look, like a just.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me do something. Hold on. Where's Anastasia here? Hold on. Nah, Anastasia doesn't see it. Yeah, so that's her explanation for now. She doesn't elaborate any further. She plans on having a full discussion with everybody once they get to whatever destination they're going to. But the bathysphere has been traveling for a while now. Unlike the ungodly week that it took to get to the lighthouse, these bathyspheres travel much faster. So you are not on it for very long. This is, like a bus route, so it's not going to take an outrageous amount of time. But you guys are en route to this upper part here where number 3 is marked. And it basically weaves you through the different buildings of this section of the city. And it's a lot of what you saw, or what Sid and Niklaus saw on the way down. Very, very tall buildings. lots of reinforced metal, very, very thick glass, but it's very much still ornate. Everything was designed with purpose, and most of that purpose was to create something visually beautiful. And it also has kind of like this air of snootiness to it, right? So this place was built not just primarily as a place for people to live, but it shows off. If this city was a person, they might be a little bit like Bambi. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so you can tell that a lot of craftsmanship went into these buildings, and obviously they have to be practical because they have to survive the depths of the ocean. But they are clearly made to be beautiful. There's a lot of motifs of like waves. Obviously, there's a lot of that natural imagery worked into it. At some point you see a building that has designs of like vines creeping up the side, so it's almost like a lattice work of vines. So kind of like mimicking what you would see in nature, but under the sea. Yeah, so this place is very, very finely made. Even despite the fact that it is crumbling, it's starting to look worn. But on top of that, there is a lot of bright colors. There's a lot of what we would consider more modern pieces as well. There are neon signs that light up large sections of these buildings. You notice that there's one neon sign in particular hanging off the side of a building. And you're not quite sure what it's advertising, but it almost looks like the neon shape of a man. And the lights flash in an alternating way so that it looks like he's kicking his leg and taking off his hat at the same time. So it's kind of like a mishmash. I did not know the cat was under the desk, and I'm moving my feet, and now he's digging into my socks.
Oh.
God damn it, cat. I was into the description, but anyway, sorry. Yeah, so he's like lifting up his hat and kicking his leg at the same time. There's signs that say, what you can assume are the names of stores inside, or, like names of general things. So like, for example, Artemis Gardens. They're kind of more all-encompassing names that would denote that the whole building is something specific. So you experience this for a little while longer. I would say maybe 5-10 minutes tops. It doesn't take you very long to get to this to the subsequent location. And just like the landing of the first bathysphere, you dock into this little section of the building. The doors close and lock tight, sealed behind you. You sit for a moment. All of the water starts to drain out. You are not being drowned, I promise. I will clarify, nothing is happening inside the bathysphere. The water begins to drain out of this airtight section. And finally, once everything is good, the doors in front of the bathysphere open. And Anastasia opens the bathysphere front again, that little porthole, and swings it open. This new area is... Sorry, did you have something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, while all the water is draining, Niklaus is, again, like, pointing out to Bambi, very much like a, not quite mansplaining, but close, like, how all of this is working. And trying to be very, very comforting.
Bambi just smoozes it up. She's just like draped across his shoulder still, being like, oh, you sound so smart.
Part of me wants to believe that Bambi is doing it on purpose and she knows the difference, but the other part of me is not sure that that's the case. at this point, I'm just genuinely not sure what's
Yeah,
happening.
neither am I, to be perfectly honest. But there's like she's no, even with the amount of sickly sweet she is, you wouldn't be able to tell because she pretends to be dumb all the time.
Niklas is clearly playing a game and is basically acting on the assumption that Bambi is as well, regardless of whether Bambi is or not.
She
Good
might
luck.
be. So at this point, Pepper has been giving them odd looks, and she leans over to Anastasia. Like, does the little deer realize that she's playing into the mouth of a lion? I have some concerns.
Anastasia pitches her voice low, and she's just like, I honestly don't think that I'd be able to tell you with confidence, but I suppose we'll have to see.
Well, if she gets eaten, I guess I could say I told you so. Maybe I should say something. Would that be a good idea?
I mean, darling, you are free to do whatever you like. I mean, I think they're probably okay for now.
No eat. Okay. No, nobody's gonna get eaten yet. Oh, okay.
I love how
Anastasia mutters under her breath. Oh, go ahead.
I just love how wary everyone is of Niklas already.
That's because he gives off that energy. Just bad vibes.
Bad
Perfect.
vibes, bro. Bad vibes.
Exactly how I wanted him to be. I love it.
Yeah. So the porthole is open, the door is open, and Anastasia is the first one out, as she is closest to the door, and she waits outside for everybody to file out.
Bambi takes her time.
Of course she does.
Niklas will assist to whatever extent Bambi wishes, I guess.
Well, Bambi's not hindering. She's just taking her sweet old time because there's a fine ass male that might have money.
Who definitely has money.
Yep.
Who definitely looks like he has money.
And
At
yeah,
the point.
Niklas is just like offering his arm and that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, she's all over it.
Yeah, of course she is.
I
Alright,
have some concerns.
Anastasia doesn't say anything this time. She just nods. It's very much like a.
Are you okay?
Yeah, are you good?
Side checks the bag for condoms.
God.
Sorry for laughing like a fucking maniac.
I just was spooked.
Sorry.
Love it.
Oh my God, you guys, come on. It shouldn't take us 15 minutes to get out of a door.
I told you, I
Absolutely.
summed it up. I was like, it's going to take a little bit of time, but we're here.
I love it. All right, so everybody gets out of the dang bathysphere.
Don't assume. No, I'm kidding.
All right, if anybody wants to stay in the bathysphere, get in there now. We're gonna leave you. Either you come along or you get left behind. Pick one.
On our
What do you
way.
think?
Oh my God. Anyway, so this section is similar to the transport hub that you just left, but significantly smaller. This is not like a major hub. It doesn't have multiple routes coming out of it. It's just usually it's typically just between this hub versus the main transportation hub in the Welcome Center. So it's significantly smaller. It's still it still has that like little booth with the little ticket slot and the little tray that dips down for people to purchase tickets and things like that. Because naturally, even in an underwater city, you're going to have to buy bus tickets, or you can walk the whole city. But yeah, so very similar. But when you look up the sign that is at the top of the wall there, very, very nice sign, similarly done in metal, and still intact. Weirdly enough, nothing is missing. It's just like these beautiful little detailed, almost like little carvings into each letter. So each one of these letters was clearly hand carved. But you see the sign and it says Apollo Plaza. Yeah, so you are now in Apollo Plaza, and Anastasia starts to lead you towards a door, which is of course similar to the transport hub, just kind of like that secondary door. It's a very heavy set door, so one might assume that it's extra reinforcements just in case anything were to ever happen to the transport, the docking station, so that the whole place wouldn't be flooded. So it's a very, very heavy door, but it does raise up as you approach it, so it lets you in. Yeah, so you come out into a building, and the first thing that you notice is a staircase that splits two directions, so you can take the left or the right, but both of the staircases kind of curl around and lead downstairs until a second little landing. And this is an enclosed little space. There are kind of like some little sections off to each side with like some vending machines, things like that. But other than that, it's just like a little, like the equivalent of a landing page. This is where you would come into as soon as you got through with that travel.
So as they're getting out and looking around, actually something finally occurs to Pepper, and she's like, wait, did you say that they were from the surface? Did I hear that correctly? I'm just now processing. I'm so sorry.
Anastasia kind of offers her a little bit of a smile and said, yes, darling, that is correct. These people are from the surface. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, like I said, I sent out an SOS signal, and luckily we were blessed enough to
you
have someone
didn't
answer.
get in trouble?
Anastasia shoots her a look.
Oh,
It's just
I'm
like,
sorry. Did I go too far? I'm sorry.
No, she kind of closes her mouth and her lips press into a tight line, but she looks like she's trying to put that gentle expression back on, and she's like, no, it's perfectly fine, it's a good question, but sometimes you can't get in trouble for things that people don't know about. So saying that, we will make sure that nobody knows.
Well, yes, I mean, we all know that we're both not friends of, well, there's no worries from me.
Bambi just walks past you guys with a sly fucking look on her face and smiles back at Niklaus.
I assume Niklaus can overhear some of this conversation, right?
Yeah.
I think he will look to Bambi and in a very polite and kind and just dripping with charm way. Do you know who they're referring to?
I don't have the slightest, darling.
Fair enough. It just keeps walking alongside Bambi.
Are you going to tell them? She
I
whispers to
mean,
Anastasia. Yeah.
yes, eventually. I would just like for us to
You
get to
don't.
where we need to go.
Okay. I mean, hmm. I mean, I'm surprised we haven't run into any animals yet, but um, you don't trust this guy, do you?
And just as Pepper asks that question, as Bambi is blowing past to go down the stairs, down on the second floor, hidden from view immediately as you are trying to descend the stairs, there is a disembodied voice, and it is a male voice, and it sounds frustrated. And he says, God fucking damn it. Would you just fucking open? Come on. And that's where we're going to take a break.
Nice. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes. Be sure to stretch your legs, grab snacks, hydrate, all that good stuff. And we'll be right back.
Excellent. So I hope that everybody has some water or some juice or had some snacks, bio break. But before we went on break, we finally got to Adonis Plaza. Bambi was heading down them stairs, and we heard a voice, a male voice, wanting to open something. So upon hearing that voice, what is the reaction?
From
Buzzing mate.
what appears-
Immediately Pepper is on guard, as so is the Puppos. But like she immediately aims her gun in that direction, kind of.
from what appears to be almost entirely out of nowhere, Bambi pulls out a hard, heavy, very 1950s microphone with a very long, sturdy cord wrapped around the other arm.
Niklaus takes a step back and then looks to Anastasia and just kind of goes, friend of yours?
Just because I live here does not mean that I know everybody here. And she kind of raises the metal pipe that she had previously. And of course, her voice is hushed. And you guys can still hear the voice babbling. You still can't see who it is yet. But they sound like they're having a tough time. There's the sound of like metal clanging against the floor. So you can probably assume that whatever he's holding and trying to open, he's like smashing it against the floor repeatedly. And it's making a very loud noise.
So I don't have very much of the I don't have any of the quantities of the items in my stuff. But I wanted to ask if I could use my siren plasmid.
Yes, so I'm going to have you start off with 1 full charge. So did we decide how many charges that your siren song has on a full bar?
You know what? I think we talked about it, but I don't remember. Let me take a quick look. Come back to me.
Oh, hold on, I've got it here, I think. 4.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna add that. Okay.
I'm gonna bump that up to 6 because 4 is garbage.
Okay, thanks.
So you have 6 on a full charge.
I was going to make this really, really cinematic. But I don't have the perfect song cued, so Bambi begins. She sings "Big Bad Handsome Man" by Imelda May. I'll pop a link into there. But essentially, it's like a wooing song to upbeat and attempt to draw this man away from the whatever it is that he's doing and get him into her clutches.
All right, so I am going to get you to roll. I can't remember offhand if we discussed like the nitty gritty of how this works. Do you remember what what it is that this falls under? Because I can't remember.
Yeah, hold on.
Because I know that he would have to roll to resist. I'm gonna get you to roll for accuracy.
Okay, perfect. Could I argue skillfulness instead?
Yes.
Perfect. Was it D20s or D6s?
D20.
3, 15.
30? Oh, I thought you said 30.
No, D20 plus 3.
Okay,
I
so
rolled
what
a
did you?
15.
15, so 18 altogether?
Nope, 15 altogether.
Oh, okay, perfect. That's still good. So you start to sing, and our lovely friend stops banging the whatever metal container that he has off the ground, and there's silence. Nothing comes out of him. So Anastasia is the first to move cautiously down the stairs. Yeah.
During that time, Bambi's going to encourage the gentleman to come to her, and she's swaying her hips and dancing to her own song. And the closer he gets, she wraps the cord around his neck, nice and gentle and slow like.
The guy ain't there yet. The sound stopped, right?
Yes. So he is down on the lower level. You guys are still up at the stairs.
Oh, I gotcha. Never
so
mind.
Yes. So these stairs curl around. They break off. So there's a little landing. And then there's the staircase to the left and the staircase to the right. And they curve down and meet at the bottom of the stairs. So he is presumably under where you are. There must be like a room in there because he's in that recessed part of the room. So you can't see him. You just know that the sound has stopped.
Cool. Okay. She continues her song and walks down the stairs then.
Anastasia kind of makes a grab for her arm, kind of in like a, what are you doing?
Yeah, like Pepper's kind of looking around like, do you have a death wish? The whole point is to stay quiet, you know.
Bambi, because she's entranced in singing her song and using the breath that she has, instead of properly responding, she instead like kind of comes up and grooves next to both of them, and she's like, well, I'm gonna figure it out what it is. And then keeps singing and pulls away, or attempts to pull away.
Niklas is
Anastasia lets her go.
Niklas is following a couple of steps behind Bambi, taking notes, seeming very interested in what's going on.
So the gentleman downstairs does not break free of the song. There is still silence. And then you can see him emerge from this little recessed part of the room. From where you are on the stairs, you can see that he is downstairs. And he's looking around as if he's trying to find something so extravagant and so blissful that if he does not find it, then he will simply fall to pieces. He is very adamantly looking from side to side. His motions are janky. He's kind of got this dreamy look to his eyes. He is very much curious to know where this sound is coming from.
So cool. And Bambi's allowed to move further?
Yeah.
So she does.
So he's still stuck.
She is taking a look, like there's a cautious glance as she looks around to see if there's anybody else in the area or that might be responding to her song, just to make sure that she's not totally gonna get fucked.
I'm gonna have to get you to roll an awareness check.
Okay.
Is there a way for Niklas to assist, since he's right there and also concerned about the similar things?
Oh, that was a natural 20 with no extra perks. Thank you, Roll20, for being nice to me today.
That's good because I rolled a 3. Yes. So, Niklas, we do not even need your assistance because Bambi, you are aware that there is another set of footsteps coming down the short little hallway that is directly. So once you come down the staircase, there's like a little lobby type thing, and then there's a straight little tiny hallway to the very front of you that connects to the other part of the building. So you are aware that there is noise coming from that little hallway. You can't see anyone yet, but they do sound like high heels.
Oh, fuck. Bambi immediately feels like she knows what's going on here, but go on.
Can Pepper actually roll awareness for the sound, because she's super on edge now that, someone's being an idiot and making a lot of noise.
Bambi's literally melting her guts out.
Yeah, like, okay, in Pepper's eyes, because Pepper isn't under the thrall of your song, right? In Pepper's eyes, you're being a complete and utter idiot, and you're just gonna get yourself killed.
That's
and
fair.
By animals. So,
yes, you can roll for awareness.
Okay, I rolled 17 plus 1, so 18.
Yes, you hear something as well. You might not identify them right away as high heels, but you do hear some noise coming from that little hallway.
I swear to God, if it's Vixen, I'm throwing fists. So Bambi keeps this up. As far as she can tell, there are only 2 people in the immediate vicinity, one in high heels, and the other one she can clearly see. She knows for sure that she could probably suffocate this gentleman with her exquisite love. But she's not certain about the adversary she can't see, especially if it's Vixen.
So how close are you now to him? He's still in your thrall. He's not breaking free yet.
Is there a way that I can have him fall on his sword for me, so to speak? Sounds like a double entendre, but it's not. I'd literally mean that he kill himself for me.
No, so he will not kill himself, but you are currently in enough control that he will not outright attack.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's going to close the distance between them, and in her performance theatrics, she's going to wrap her cord around him, and then instead of like tightening it where she is, she's going to lead him like a dog back towards where he had come from.
I would say at this point, Anastasia reaches the bottom of the stairs, and she has her pipe raised, the metal pipe that she had. And let me see, does she hear? No, she does not hear the footsteps coming from the other direction. Bambi, do you tell anybody else that you hear this, or do you just keep quiet?
I actually may use my plasmid. Man's best friend.
Sure.
To be the ones to go check this out and kind of see through their eyes, like what that voice is.
Bambi will also add,
or not
in
the
her
voice, the
little
clack-clacks.
gig and song, that there is definitely somebody coming down the hallway. I can't sing, I told you.
So, Rowan, you have 5 uses on your plasmid before you need a refill.
Okay.
You do not need to roll for anything just because these are your animals. You are not trying to seduce an enemy. You are not trying to enthrall an enemy. These dogs belong to you. Therefore, you do not need to roll any skills or anything like that. They belong to you. You know their rhythm. You know how they work. They are family members. So you just use your plasmid.
Yeah, okay. So suddenly, like, the dogs break from Pepper. Like, Pepper is, like, probably goes down to the base of the stairs and is, like, ready for anything to happen. but they seem to almost like blend into the shadows, especially that black one. And as they head towards the sound of heels.
Yeah. So what about Sid and Niklaus? What are you guys doing?
And Niklaus is still pretty much staying close to wherever Bambi is, just observing how this power is working and taking notes. But leaving himself an exit if things get a little bit too messy. And would probably also glance around to see where Sid is and make sure Sid's not in any immediate danger.
Sid would kind of just be watching everything, but also kind of like eyeing the room where the guy had been, like trying to get into something to kind of see like what would be of interest in there.
That's where Bambi's heading.
Yeah, okay.
Sid's
So
like behind, not quite in the room, just kind of observing.
in the room downstairs,
Yeah, like
where he was?
Yeah, Sid is looking at the room, but like is behind everybody else. So it's like watching Bambi go in there, and Niklaus, but is just like kind of also staying out to observe Pepper, but is looking into the room to see what is in the room.
Okay, so you can see into where he was because it's not a very large room. It's just like a shallow recess underneath the stairs. You can see that there's a metal box on the ground. It doesn't seem like anything super special. It's just like basically like a metal lockbox. And it's got dents in it from where you assume he was just pelting this thing off the ground. But you can see it on the ground there. Bambi, what are you thinking about these high heels? Like, do you assume that they could be a certain someone, or
Yes.
are you just aware of them?
She is immediately assumptive that anybody else that is going to be wearing high heels is probably Vixen. If it's not
Okay.
Vixen, oh fucking well, somebody else was stupid enough to wear heels out there, not including herself, because she is a master at wearing high heels.
All right, so I'm gonna get you to roll resistance for me.
Oh, okay. Okay. And that is a 10.
Oh, yeah. So you are doing your thing. You have this guy under your thrall. And you hear those footsteps. Now this guy is he's still captive, but you feel him start to waver a little bit. He's not broken free yet, but he's starting to kind of come to as you hear these heels, and you assume that it can be no one other than Vixen. And this sets off in you this sense of first inferiority, and then intense anger that anybody else in this godforsaken place could make you feel inferior, because how fucking dare they? And you start to feel some bad juju going on. What side effects do you have with your cane consumption?
Almost all of them. Hold on.
I need to add the upper level ones, but what of the lower level do you have?
Let's see. Oh, hold on. I'm pulling that up again. Bleeding from the eyes, nose, and ears.
Okay.
Temporary blindness, hallucinations. What else? It was like everything. She has almost everything that doesn't affect her physically.
Okay, how many of them are there?
I believe I chose 4 of them for excessive use of cane. For a
Okay,
long period of
4.
time.
What is number 2 on that list?
Probably blindness.
Okay, so in this fit of rage that you believe this to be Vixen, you go temporarily blind. You can no longer see.
Bambi just like stops and she turns to where she thinks she came from, which is not where she came from, and she shouts at the top of her lungs, "Who fucking turned out the lights?"
And it's at this point that her attention is divided, that the splicer that she is holding on to breaks from his spell and lashes out at you. So I'm going to get you to roll dodge, but with disadvantage.
Okay, so I will roll twice. Oh, good. Right? Disadvantage is to roll twice.
Twice and take the
Twice.
worst one.
Niklas would like to do a thing immediately after this.
Okay.
Oh no.
I think that's gonna be my
I don't like that
lowest.
sound.
Jesus.
I don't know. Can you
Why?
roll lower than an at one? I'm not sure.
My modifier. It's a 5. Wait, that should be a -1. It's a 4. My lowest
And
roll is
we're
a
all
4.
dead.
No, with your nat 1, as you are turning to yell, you lose your grip on the splicer who has broken free of the spell, and he socks you, just absolutely socks you with his fist, and he does 4 damage. Like you get the you get the full brunt of this guy just leaning off and socking you.
Okay.
You take 4 damage.
I hit the floor.
I want you to roll probably skillfulness for me.
Can Niklas do a thing?
Yes,
before
Niklas, what would
that?
you like to do before that? Before he hits her or before she hits the ground?
Probably doesn't have time to get in before the punch happens.
Okay.
But seeing that Bambi has lost control of this person, I think he will swoop in and possibly catch Bambi, possibly,
Okay.
before she falls and hits the ground. And then I want to use my handy dandy smoke bomb.
Sure. All right, so I'm going to get you to roll for swiftness, just because we're not looking to see how well you catch Bambi, but how fast you're able to get there to catch her.
Bambi
Yeah.
did roll a 13 to not hit the floor.
You stumble, you fall down temporarily because your heel kind of twists under your ankle for a second, but you regain your balance and stand back up.
Excellent.
But you're still kind of moving backwards. So if Niklaus kind of comes in, he can stop you from continuing to like topple on your
backpedaling?
heels kind of deal. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because trying to walk on your heels is a bitch.
yeah, Niklas got a 13 on swiftness.
Yeah, you're able to get there because I don't think you were like at the top of the stairs or anything. So we're not going to make you work too hard for it. You do get there. You're able to catch her before she spills again of her own accord from those heels that she's wearing.
If these new high heels fucking break on me, I'm gonna be pissed.
And it's at this point that the heels approach from the hallway, and it is not Vixen, but Bambi, you wouldn't know that because you're blind. Yeah, you're blind. So I will get you to roll for resistance, but the figure that comes through the door is a female splicer, and she is wearing a plaid dress, and she's got like these just ratty, tatty old shoes on. Her body is severely disfigured. She's got like tumors growing out of her legs. One of her arms is like blown up to twice its size. It looks like perhaps someone dumped like acid on her and she's melty a little bit. But she's able by some miracle of nature to stand upright and walk on these heels that she's wearing. And then when she sees you, she just screeches. Like it's this very loud and abrasive sound. And Anastasia kind of flinches a little bit, but turns her attention to the new arrival rather than the Splicer who has just socked Bambi.
Okay. I think Niklaus would like to say a witty one-liner and then use the smoke bomb.
Yeah, and there's
if
a
you can.
dog. There are also dogs ready
Yes.
to eat this newcomer.
Right. So
So.
Anastasia and dogs on contender number 1. Sid doing God knows what Sid is doing.
Well,
And
when we can, because Sid wants to do something quickly before the smoke bomb happens.
okay, let's go for you first then. Sid, what would you like to do?
Sid wants to hurry and grab the lockbox and run out of the room.
All right, so roll swiftness for me.
That's a 12.
12. All right, so you do get into the room and you grab the lockbox. Niklaus, what are you doing?
So Niklaus wants to, of course, having caught Bambi, just sort of leaned out and quietly say, "I believe that's our cue to leave," and hit the smoke bomb button on the cane. The walking cane, not CAIN cane.
Yes.
Hit that cane hard, dude.
Okay.
I mean, for the sake of me, can I hit the cane?
No, Bambi, you're currently blind.
Give me more!
Oh my goodness.
So, Bambi, I'm going to get you to roll resistance for me, and Niklaus, I'm going to get you to roll swiftness.
I rolled a 12 for resistance.
Okay.
That's a 15 for swiftness.
15. All right. So you are able to slam down that smoke bomb and get Bambi out before you both inhale a lungful of smoke. Sid, you do not quite make it out before the smoke kind of spreads a little bit. So you're left coughing a little bit, but you get out just fine as well. And for Bambi, let me see. You said you got a 12?
Yep. For resistance.
I'm looking at the wrong thing. I wrote the handbook and I can't remember a goddamn thing that I've written.
You're fine. It's been a couple of weeks.
Mood.
If I had $1, it happens to me all the time. You'd be surprised.
But I wouldn't be.
Okay.
That's just how it works.
So Bambi, you are still unable to see, but you feel that somebody has swept you away from whatever is happening, and you can tell that you are no longer where you were. You're still hurting a little bit though from that absolute just sucker punch of it's not great.
Does Bambi realize who has picked her up?
Well, he whispered in your ear.
Yeah, but does she realize though?
That's up to you. Do you think Bambi is smart enough to realize?
You know what? I don't actually know.
Oh, jeez. Oh,
For all
dear.
that
What a-
schmoozing she's doing, she can't
What a
even
game this
recognize
is turning
his
out to
voice.
be.
Bambi is going to play it safe and play possum and just faints.
Oh no.
Like full dead
No.
weight.
Nothing like making it harder.
To play it
Oh.
safe.
I'm assuming I need to make another roll.
Strength roll, maybe.
Yeah, I'll get you to roll strength for me.
Awesome. We're utilizing all of the things that I have no points in.
Alas.
Me too, but I did that on purpose.
Well, that's what you get for
sweet.
trying to be a fake hero.
18 on strength.
This is what it means to go further beyond. Oh.
Yeah.
18. So yes, you have no issue with Bambi being a possum right now. You are able to get out of there before the smoke fully clouds up. When she goes limp in your arms, you're able to pick her up just fine and move her out of the way. you are aware that or did you see the newcomer come in, the splicer lady? You heard her, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So you are aware that she is behind you. But yeah, so this guy is now like hacking out a lung, and he didn't look too great to begin with. He was definitely worse for wear. So constricting those lungs with smoke probably isn't doing him any favors, but he is occupado for now. So back with the puppers and Anastasia. Anastasia goes to take a swing at this lady.
Who,
And
for all intents and purposes, we should call Karen because she's fat and ugly. I mean, oh. Oh.
well listen, I didn't say it, all right? So it's not my fault. Anastasia takes a swing at this woman, and she is riled up enough that she is able to move out of her way. So Anastasia swings, tries to put as much strength behind it as she can, and she misses. All right, so Pepper, what would you like to do with those puppos?
So, according to my move set, I can only use one of the puppers, but Pepper herself is not attacking. Does that mean I can use both?
You can use Pepper and one dog. So you cannot use all three of you in one turn.
But I can do two? Because Pepper
Yes.
can't see. She's back at the stairs and was affected by that smoke bomb.
Okay, yes. So in that case,
Smoke bomb.
surprise.
Jeez.
She can probably, so the way I kind of imagine Man's Best Friend working is that once she is kind of attached to these dogs, her awareness kind of becomes their awareness and vice versa. So even though she is not able to actually physically see what's happening, she can sense what's happening through the dog's eyes. So I will say that because you are still at the stairs and you are caught in this smoke, Pepper herself will not be able to attack this turn,
Yes,
but the
that was
dog
my
is
plan.
absolutely still free. Yeah.
So, once again, I can use both because Pepper is held up.
Oh, both dogs.
Yes.
Yes, I will allow you to do that. Both dogs can go.
Okay. So it's two of each, just to clear up for future. So I can either do one dog and Pepper or both dogs. Or
yes, but Pepper has to be, well, they all have to be in range of their targets. So like you can't
Oh,
go
yeah,
all the
no.
way across a room or something like that. But yes, if everybody is within attacking range, I will allow you to either do one dog and Pepper or both dogs and no Pepper.
Yeah, and Pepper had already set this up, so.
So for those doggos, I'm going to get you to roll for strength.
For strength. They are strong puppos. They have the strunk. The strongest. 16 plus I mean, I assume it's Pepper's strength, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So 16 plus 2, so 18 on one puppo.
Okay. Oh my sweet lord.
What?
I'm rolling against the dogs. It's not going well.
Dirty 20.
Yeah.
For the second puppo.
they both go. Yeah. Both dogs make their attacks. They're good attacks. So while this splicer lady is busy with Anastasia, she does not recognize that the dogs are also there, and she's completely unaware until they're on top of her. I don't think we decided what the attack damage was.
We have not.
Let
me grab my dice.
I'm going to say roll a d6 for each dog.
Okie dokie. D6.
Yeah.
All right. So 1, that's 2. And then the other, that's 3.
So 5 total?
Yeah. Do I add anything
Okay.
to it, like their strength or?
No, you're good.
Okay.
So basically the strength roll was to see if they hit versus her dodging, basically. And then it's just the straight up D6 for damage. All right,
Makes
so
sense.
your dogs are able to latch onto this lady and just take a chunk right out of her. She did not see it coming, and she howls and kind of reels back a little bit. And then while she is busy, Anastasia takes this opportunity to try and come in clutch with another roll, with another smack. And
Smack.
she absolutely hits while this lady is flailing with dogs, and does another 4 damage. So Sid is kind of hanging back a little bit. Niklaus and Bambi are good. Bambi, I'm going to get you to roll resistance again for me. And then I would say the smoke bomb is still doing its work. Buddy is still choking away in there. His lungs are not happy. So he's still he's still not doing good.
But Bambi does have a song for the other slicer getting her comeuppance.
Yeah, I will get you. What did we roll last time? Skillfulness?
Yeah, no, resistance. Oh,
For your siren song.
yeah. That was skillfulness.
Okay, so roll a skillfulness for me. But I will get you to roll with disadvantage because you are still blind and don't know where the
That's
fuck you're
why
pointing.
she's just singing for anybody that'll hear her.
I mean, that's also very true. So if she's loud enough, just roll skillfulness.
Okay. Wow, 23. Natural 20 plus 3.
Yeah, so this lady stops flailing and she's got 2 dogs attached to her and she's bleeding profusely from the face where she just got a full-on metal pipe there. And she just stops fighting. She is entranced by Bambi's singing, this
And
poor woman.
Bambi is singing with sweet, vindictive nastiness, Cell Block Tango from Chicago. She had it coming.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Sid, what about you? Are you still hanging back for a little while? Or what are you doing?
Sid is taking notes.
Why am I not surprised? All right, so Sid is taking notes. Trying to open the lockbox?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you hold on to that for a second. Okay, so now that Bambi is doing her thing, Niklaus, is there anything else that you'd like to do? Because previously Bambi was playing possum and now she's singing.
Yeah. Niklaus is just playing along, making observations, taking notes, probably offering some praise to Bambi's singing, like saying that's quite a beautiful voice you have. Things like that.
Are you even slightly inclined to try and find a weapon to help?
No.
Okay, perfect. So now
I think as far as Niklaus is concerned, he did find the weapon.
I mean, true. So Anastasia takes another swing. This lady is flailing. Well, she was flailing too much. But now, even though she stopped, Anastasia, poor girl, out of breath, misses again. She does not hit this lady for fear of hitting the dogs. She doesn't want to hit Pepper's dogs. And so in her carefulness, she completely misses, just gone. Pepper, you can roll, because the dogs are still attached. I won't get you to roll for an attack, but you can roll another 2d6 for ongoing continuous damage because they are still latched on there.
The reason I'm laughing is, what's her name? Anastasia keeps trying to hit and miss, and all I can hear in my head is, "And I fired again, and I missed."
And I fired again and I missed again.
I missed both times.
All right, I got 2 3s, so 6. And I missed.
Yeah, so this lady, worse for wear, she did not look very good to begin with. But those dogs just tear through her until there is nothing left. And she twitches a couple times on the ground and then she doesn't move anymore. I would say it's at this point that the smoke is starting to clear up. And if you are not careful, this splicer is going to attack as well. So you can either stay and fight him or you can leave. What would you like to do? So Bambi cannot use her siren song again. Once someone has broken free, that is it. They can no longer be entranced by her. So you do not have that to fall back on.
So, now that the smoke is clearing, does Pepper have a clear shot of the other guy?
Yes, I would say.
Okay.
If you want to roll for accuracy to see if you can hit him.
Yes, ma'am. I would love that. Because, oh, there's my, I almost said ashtray. This is a dice tray. Come on.
Bambi is going to, while Rowan rolls, is going to repeatedly pat Niklaus to put her down.
Okay, so that's 14 plus accuracy, correct? 4. Wow, 8.
You got 8 total?
Yeah. Well, no, 18. Excuse me. 14 plus 4. 18.
Oh, okay.
My brain.
This splicer looks up just as you're taking aim and sees that you are about to take a shot, and is able to move out of the way. He dives and rolls and avoids your shot.
Oh, poopy. Well, I should roll to see if it even fired in the first place.
Very true. What should we? Because you said it's an old ass gun, right?
Yeah. So what we discussed previously is that it only hits half the time, but when it does a lot of damage because this is a hunting rifle. This is hardcore.
Yeah. Okay.
Elephant gun?
So what?
Is it like an elephant gun?
Yeah.
All right.
Which are not as uncommon as you think they are.
No, they're not.
God. That's wild. I will get you to roll a d20 just straight up and down.
All right. 6. So it wouldn't have fired anyways.
No. So he saw gun and he was like, nah, I'm out. And just preemptively dove out of your way.
And nothing goes off.
And then nothing goes off. So he stands up and he starts laughing. And it's like a belly laugh, like he's holding on to his sides and he's just like, you crazy stupid bitch, your gun doesn't even work.
Yeah,
and
all he heard was click.
So he is now out of the brunt of the smoke, and he can now see the rest of the party closest to him. So again, I will ask, are you going to fight or are you going to run?
Could Sid have snuck up behind him and hit him over the head with the lockbox?
I'm gonna get you to roll for stealth.
Okay, let me see. Okay. 15.
15. Yes, you do make the stealth move because he rolled a 14 and it's not good apparently. So he's laughing at Pepper's gun not working, and it is so fucking hilarious to him that he just does not see this child walk up behind him with a metal box. So I will get you to roll me a d6 for damage because I mean you don't even have to aim. He's not aware.
6.
Okay. Yeah, so he takes that right in the back of the head. When you take the lockbox away, there is blood just dripping down the back of his head, and all over the corner of the lockbox is just like bloody. It's disgusting. And you notice that like the back of his head has patches of hair missing, and there's like growths coming out of the back of his head. Like he's not very pretty.
Gross.
But when he takes that lockbox to the back of the head, he like stumbles forward, and after a second like whirls around to face you and just like lets out just a string of obscenities. He is clearly not happy. And he goes to make a swing at you two, just like he did for Bambi. Oh boy, he's he's not doing so well. Would you roll for dodge, please?
Mm-hmm. That's a 4.
A 4. He does get you.
Okay.
But because he's still a little woozy, I was going to roll a smaller dice because he is not doing so well, but it still rolled a 4, so you take 4 damage.
Okay.
Apparently he is there enough to connect solidly, and all the while he is just cursing you to high heaven.
This is probably something I should have known already, but how much HP do I start with?
Hold on, let me bring up the leveling table.
20?
20? 20, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
20.
Has Niklaus put Bambi down?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that. As soon as she could see again.
I don't know if she can see, but...
Or
Rowan.
when she insists.
Rowan! But his foot, it's caught in a bear trap. Well, I will give you this. Seeing as there are no bears, seeing as there are no bears under the ocean, it is not a bear trap. However, it is like a makeshift bear trap. So some
nice.
Crazy splicer who is hallucinating to high heaven decided that they are going to set up this intricate trap in the corner of this little alcove.
It could have been Pepper.
It also could have been Pepper. Very true. So I will let you have that. If you'd like it to be Pepper, then we can definitely say that Pepper was here and during one of her hallucinations set up a fucking bear trap.
Yes. And she's like, oh, that's where I put that thing. That's where I left that thing.
So
maybe no, it was a bear trap that her grandfather had for decor.
There you go. Excellent. So that is there, and she has forgotten that she put it there.
She had misplaced it.
Yes, it was misplaced. So she's put this there. This splicer goes and makes a swing at Sid, connects, but because he's still woozy, he takes a couple steps back, and that foot lands right square in that bear trap and closes in on his leg, and he screams in agony, and he is completely and wholly consumed with this metal contraption on his leg, and he is down for the count. He does not have the attention span to fight you with a bear trap on his leg.
Pepper's like, oh, that's where I left that thing.
Anastasia looks at Pepper just like, the shock does not stop with these people. She's just completely blown away that there's a damn bear trap in this place, and that it actually worked. So she's not
it's
going to
clearly
question
like
it.
antique. You know how those like old rustic you
Yeah,
go to like an old farm and there's all rustic stuff and
yeah.
it's a little bit like super textured-y because it's like old iron and things like that. Yeah. Might
The
get
more
tetanus.
antique, the more antique. I think tetanus is probably the least of a splicer's problems. But yes, so you are able to leave him there. He's not going to bother you anymore if you guys want to take off. Sid, you do still have your lockbox. It's dripping with a little bit of gore, but other than that, still intact. And then this second splicer is gone. The dogs are good to come back to Pepper. Yeah. So what would you guys like to do? Would you like to leave or
Sure.
put him out of his misery?
Pepper's like, so, who wants to eat well tonight?
I do. Babby says, probably still blind. I rolled a 14 for resistance.
Anastasia shakes her head. She's still got that incredulous look on her face. And she looks like she is absolutely not prepared to eat well tonight. So she starts making her way for the little hallway where the splicer came from.
It's like, wait. I promise caribou actually tastes pretty good.
Oh boy, darling, that is not a caribou. We need to go.
Does Bambi regain her vision, or is she still blind as fuck?
You got really quiet there, yes.
Yeah.
No, you're gone.
Now you're silent.
Hear me?
Yes,
Now
there
we
you go.
can.
Maybe if I yell a little bit.
Given the fact that I forgot to make Bambi roll for resistance, yes, she is able to see now.
Oh, good. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So Bambi comes back and she slaps Pepper on the back and she says, "Caribou, human, it's all a delicatessen to me. Where are we going, Doc?"
Anastasia stops and turns back to them, and she's like, "We do not have time to drag a splicer, body and bones, back to where we are going. Leave them and come with me now, or else I'm just going to leave you here."
Okay, I'm coming. And Pepper.
Can we at least search the bodies, Doc?
Oh my goodness. And she starts speaking to herself in Russian. And although probably none of you know Russian, it probably sounds like she's going to jump off a bridge. Like she is just done with your bullshit.
Andy literally takes the time that she's cursing to rummage through some pockets.
All right, roll for investigate.
Where is it? Oh, I found it. Okay.
Niklaus might look to Sid to see if, like, Sid wants to rummage
A
through
natural
some
21.
pockets.
Sid just like holds up the lockbox and like to show like, oh, I got this, and then tries to open the lockbox.
Okay.
So Bambi, you got 21?
Yep.
Sweet. All right, so you are able to rummage through the dead splicer. And she has $20 on her. Yeah, so you can shove that into your boobies as acting as your purse, you know?
As one does.
Listen, don't act like you've never shoved shit into your titties so that you can hold on to it.
Fuck yeah.
Bambi does that all the time. I can tell. That's exactly
Victoria's
the type of girl she
secret
is.
compartment.
Yes.
That's what we call
Exactly.
it.
Precisely. If you got them, use them. You know, they don't let them go to waste.
She's got like hella cutlet pockets. So, you know, she packing.
Yes, so you do find $20 on this splicer. Just to be annoying, they're all $1 bills.
Like one at a time, slipping them in.
I have to
Slipping
tell
into
you,
the G-strap, you know.
I've got to tell you, the first time that I went to the States, I went into a store and started pulling money out of my pockets, and I had to look at the girl at the cash, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm Canadian. We don't have $1 bills. Please bear with me. All of your money is the same color."
It's true.
So that's how that went. I could literally give you a $50 bill, and I wouldn't know the difference between that and a one. So please be patient with me. Okay, so Anastasia is not patient enough to let you guys do more than that, and she rushes you guys out through the hallway before this other splicer is able to loosen the bear trap, which it's probably going to take him a while to do that. It's an antique bear trap. I would say that bad boy is stuck on there. So as of right now, you probably would do well to hurry. However, it's not like if you're not gone in the next 3 seconds, something bad's going to happen. So she ushers you guys through. Please say that you do not put up a fight.
No, I won't put up a fight.
Was Sid able to get the lockbox open though in that time?
Okay, so did you roll anything for that?
I didn't know what to roll.
Okay, you can try to grab like a there's, I don't know, probably rubble, concrete stuff around. If you want to grab something off the ground and try to beat this thing open, there doesn't seem to be a key. Like there's no key or anything with it. So
tinker to try and like.
Yes, I will let you roll tinker.
That's a 16.
16. You rattle around with this box. I would say perhaps you have like some little pickpocket shit in your pockets, some little tinkery, lock picking stuff. You can hear the mechanism moving. Like it's almost like you can just kind of figure it out, but whatever it is, the lock itself is not quite popping open. So it's not that you can't, it just might take you a little more time.
Okay.
And Anastasia is insisting that you do not have the time right now to do that. So
Yeah.
take it with you.
Pepper actually says it's like, if I don't have time to make sure that we have dinner, then maybe we don't have time to open locks right this second. Let's go to a safe place, and I mean, you can carry it with you. Makes sense.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there a cheese store on this level that we could stop everything right now and go to?
What?
Are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? No, there's no cheese store. Oh my god. Oh my god. Y'all are really trying to break me today, huh?
That's for anybody who's not familiar, that's an Animus reference.
God damn it. No, there is no cheese store, unfortunately. If you go to the farmer's market, which is further into the city, perhaps you might find some rotten cheese. But no, there are no stores that have been in good upkeep since the Civil War that sell cheese, my love.
Fun Bambi fact, she has access to real cheese back at home.
Okay, so
Niklas is getting out of there.
yeah, you guys go down this hallway, and it's a very short, like it's not really a hallway, it's just connecting these two spaces, probably maybe like 4 or 5 steps from one side to the next. But when you get out through this this side of the hall, it opens up into a larger space. The area immediately after you come out through that other side has like you can tell that this was like a little garden space They probably had like little garden boxes, flower beds, and stuff like that lined up, but now it's just like all completely overgrown. And the plants are basically like living there now. This is their house, and you need to get the fuck out. But yeah, if you move into this open space, this is basically the center of Adonis Square or Adonis Plaza. This is where, just for like the Exodites, they know this is where the working class and lower class citizens would have their homes. There was a clinic here, a free clinic in this area as well. Any of the lower class amenities, anything like that, would be found in this area. Not to say that it's like a garbage looking place at all. It's still in the theme of the rest of Exodus. It's just slightly or significantly dialed back. So you still have the skeleton of a beautiful structure, very, very open ceiling. Like this level of the building is very tall. A lot more of the kind of atrium feel to it, where there are still plants growing in and out and around the walls and stuff like that. The only difference is that in the atrium there were specific like water and irrigation systems so that the plants could thrive there. That was the point. But here it's much more of like a nature taking over kind of feel to it. So where the atrium was still overgrown, it felt like it belonged in that kind of setting. But here you can tell that that was not the intention, that this was supposed to be decorative, and that over the years, it just started to reclaim anything that it felt like reclaiming. But there doesn't seem to be anything trying to kill you here, which is fantastic. There are no splicers immediately in the vicinity.
That's new.
Yeah, so this place is relatively quiet. There are two kind of hallways leading off, or two sections leading off, one to the left, one to the right. And then you can proceed forward. The section to the left side is completely demolished. The rubble is closing over the door. You can tell that pieces of the interior of the building have fallen across. It almost kind of looks like somebody barricaded it a little bit as well. So took rubble from the surrounding areas and piled it up in front of this door. Whether that was like splicers or people who lived here, like Anastasia, is unclear. But you do know that there's no way you're getting through that side. The other side is clearer. There's still some damage to the structure of the doorway. But if you kind of look through that space, it just looks like there's more amenities and restaurants and stuff like that. So you guys can go and take a look there if you'd like. Anastasia doesn't look like she has the patience for it, but she won't say anything if you'd like to take a look. But it's clearly a little closed off space. Like this is just basically the things that were available to the people who lived here. So for daily life kind of deal.
Bambi immediately goes to root through everything. Like cash registers, drawers, desks. She is primarily looking for money or anything that might be of upper class value. Everything else she leaves behind.
So I can tell you that right now that there is nothing upper class about this space. This is strictly working class and lower class. Bambi would know that looking at the map, the higher luxury apartments would be near the back end of the city, where kind of along that line of where the entertainment district is, and then just before you would get up to like the research centers and stuff like that. So the real big money technically would be back that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so then she would just be looking for like cash. Quick
Okay,
cash.
yeah. Do 3 investigation rolls for me.
You got it.
While Bambi's doing that, I think Niklaus is going to move over to Sid and suggest that perhaps Sid should look for things as well, like non-perishable food and cash. and Niklas is going to start looking for components for his smoke bomb stuff, as well as any sort of medical supplies.
Yes. And then when you come and approach Sid, you will notice that there's like noticeably less luggage that they're carrying.
Sid said, "See ya."
Where's the rest of the luggage?
Anastasia peeps up at that point, and she's just like, "Well, it belongs to the splicers now. I hope you didn't have anything of worth in there."
What did you leave behind, Sid?
Nothing important, just, the jams and preserves, and I figured the manners here are terrible, so all the housewarming gifts.
No, that's fair.
And unfortunately, pajamas were left behind as well.
I suppose we'll have to find new ones.
Not
Jams
my
and
silk
preserves
pajamas.
Is a bit of a misfortune, because it seems like food is not exactly readily available here, so that would have been nice to have.
Yes.
Bambi got a 25, 12, and a 15.
Okay, so with that, she finds spread out among these different places an extra $20, and she also finds a roll of bandages.
Cool.
So, while they're doing that, actually, Pepper's going to take some time to talk to Anastasia, because she's actually keeping pretty close to the heels. She's gotten, the tone. She's not that stupid, right? She's gotten to the tone of, they don't really have time for pleasure seeking or whatever.
Yeah.
She'd rather go somewhere safe as well. And she just kind of lets out a sigh once everyone just starts scattering and just looking around at everything. She's like, they don't really get the point of this, do they?
I can't fault them, I guess, for being curious. They don't really understand the gravity of the situation like we do.
Well,
but
the deer should.
Now, see, I would probably agree that her experience in the city should make her wiser. However, given that the poor lamb's personality doesn't quite match, I guess I could probably be a little more lenient with her. But I do understand what you're saying. I do want to get out of here as quickly as possible.
Well, I guess as long as we're waiting. Do you remember when all this used to be pretty?
Anastasia is kind of confused by this line of questioning. But she nods and she looks around the space that they're in. And for a moment, how everything used to look kind of flashes through her face. Like the expression that she has on reflects that she's seeing something from a different time. And she recognizes the place when she first got there, when she was in her early 20s, fresh face, just out of nursing school. She got this amazing opportunity to help people and to be a nurse and to study underneath the best doctor in Exodus, and how kind of full of hope that everything seemed then, before class divisions and political divisions kind of took over and how pristine everything looked. And she kind of shakes her head a little bit and brings it back to the present moment. And she smiles at Pepper, and it's very sad. And she doesn't say anything, but clearly she misses that time.
Yeah. Pepper catches the look and she's like, yeah, me too. I sometimes can't see it at all. That all I see is jungle. A wilderness like the stories Grandpa used to tell. That's when I'm a little less lucid than I am now. It's not fair.
Anastasia kind of reaches out, and she does it in such a way that like she's going to put her hand on Pepper's arm, but does it very visibly, like last time. If Pepper didn't see, and that's why she's startled. So she makes sure that it's very obvious that she's going to like put her hand on her arm.
Mm. The dogs do perk up a bit at this, you're laying a hand on our master. We are watching you, but
yeah. But yeah, her smile remains sweet and a little bit sad. And she kind of gives Pepper a look, and she says, "Don't worry. I'm going to do everything in my power to get us back to where we used to be. Back to a time when things were a little happier."
Are you going to try to take us back, or are you going to try to take us back to the surface?
There are certain paths that are available to us at this point in time. I guess we'll just have to see which of those paths remains open to us as we continue this journey. But don't worry, I will give you my word. I will try everything in my power to get us to where we need to be.
I would
Okay.
really like to, actually be able to see Africa and Tibet and the Rocky Mountains and all those things that Grandpa used to tell stories about one day.
Well, why don't we see if we can get you there, huh? And she like taps Pepper underneath the chin. And she doesn't wait for a response. She just kind of turns away. And she raises her voice enough to try and get the attention of the other party members, but not so that it's, loud enough to potentially attract anybody else's attention that they don't want to attract the attention of. So Sid, you do find, I'd say you find some change here and there. You're looking around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say you find a little bit of change here and there. It's not anything like crazy. You find a couple dollars here, a couple dollars there. All in all, when you look at the change in your hand, it's about $15 worth. But yeah, so Anastasia calls you all back to her, and she waits for your varying speeds, because I know you all are not going to jump at the bit, so she waits until everybody is coalesced into one group again. And she leads you through the straight path. So the path that was directly in front of where you initially came out of the hallway. And she leads you into another area, which is apartments. This is where the working class and lower class families would live in Exodus while working and trying their best to climb that social ladder. They are, like everything, not the prettiest, not like they were, but they are still standing. For the most part, there are some sections that are demolished, some sections that are barely holding on, and there are some apartments that are fully intact. And Anastasia brings you into this complex. And, you guys have to sneak around a little bit. It takes you a little while to get to where she's leading you. But she brings you into a home, and she closes the door behind you. And there are countless locks on the door. She puts a chair under the knob kind of deal. Like anything that she could have done to fortify this space has been done, and she locks it up as well as she can. You can probably tell that should something like that huge creature that saved Bambi come by, this setup probably isn't going to stop them from like doing a Kool-Aid man and punching a hole through the wall. But for the average splicer, it's adequate.
That is so not what I thought you were gonna say right there. That's so great.
What, the Kool-Aid man comment?
Yeah.
I don't know why that's my humor, but I'm glad you liked it.
I was not expecting that particular line. That was great.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm very glad you like that one. But yeah, I mean, you get the point, right? If I say Kool-Aid man hole in the wall, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's a very potent image. But yeah, so it's an adequate setup. And when she finishes locking up the space and making everything secure, her shoulders kind of sag a little bit. She exhales. This is clearly the safe space that she was referring to. And while all of the tension has not left her, it's very easy to see that she does feel more at ease in this space. And then she turns around to face you all. And after a minute, she kind of walks through you farther into the complex. And she starts calling out. And at first it's stuff like, hey, like it's all right to come out now. You can come out. We don't have to play hide and seek anymore. It's me. You can come out now. And it takes a minute, but from one of the adjoining rooms, a little girl trots out, and she's wearing a little pink dress, and it's got like a ribbon belted around her waist, and just kind of like that doll collar, the like rounded doll collar, and like puffy sleeves. And you can tell that when it was new, it was like beautifully embroidered with flowers along the hem and stuff like that. She has no shoes on. She's barefoot. But she kind of put like the huge grin spreads across her face, and she looks at Anastasia and puts her hands up in the air as if to be picked up. And she just goes, Mommy, you're back. And she stretches, and Anastasia kind of scoops her up into her arms and nuzzles her face into the little girl's neck, and then kind of holds her on one hip and turns to face the lot of you. And this is when you can see the face of the little girl, and it's dirty, and she's definitely not had a bath in a while. But most notable about her is the fact that her eyes are just the weirdest glowing green. There is nothing normal about this. This is not a splicer. This is not a regular human girl. She looks regular enough, but she has a pallor to her skin that's not of the living. That's for sure. She looks like a normal little girl, and she sounds like a normal little girl, but two of these big wide eyes are looking at you, and they're glowing green. And that's where we'll end for tonight.
Dun, dun, dun!
I do want to add one tiny little thing to the end of it.
Yes.
I think after everyone like gasps or makes whatever noise they're gonna do, and there's like a silence, you're just gonna hear like a pen scribbling, and Niklaus going, fascinating.
Well, I know what Pepper's gonna say. It's like, oh, what a cute kitty.
Oh my god.
Bambi's Bambi's
I rolled
pupils
for it.
get
She
all
got a 4.
wide.
Oh, great.
Bambi's like, oh, you're one of those women.
What's that supposed to mean, Bambi?
It means there's like 3 meanings. It's not a double entendre, but a triple entendre.
Oh.
Oh my. But yes, that is where we will end off tonight with this little girl calling Anastasia mommy and looking at you with her glowing green eyes.
Oh, that's
I
fantastic.
love it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Raven, you said that just as the Postmodern Jukebox song Barbie Girl came on.
Oh no.
And you said,
Amazing.
it's fantastic. And she said, I'm plastic.
Oh my god.
I wish I could share it with you.
That's amazing.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. So yeah, let's do we'll do outros and then go on a raid here. That was so great though. So let's start with you, Vanessa. What was your favorite part? Where can we find you next? And is there anything else you'd like to share?
My favorite part was the spontaneous bear trap of all things. Just the
That was
absolute perfection of Pepper just being like, oh, so that's where I put it.
Yes.
I very much enjoyed it. I also really liked seeing Bambi just be super duper extra and then go blind and play possum.
I learned it from splicers, didn't you know?
Yeah, but no, I'm super excited now that we're kind of getting into the groove, and we got a splicer death under our belt, so that's splicer death number 1 for those of you who are counting, and a bear trap splicer as well. But yeah, other than that, you can catch me on Saturday for Animus Absentus, where I play Annie, a space bun, pink hair, having tall lady who is on a mission to find her little brother. You can also find me on my art Twitter, which I will pop into the chat there, as well as my coffee page. I have most of my tabletop RPG art up there if you'd like to take a look. Got some Star Wars stuff that I've drawn. But yeah, so if you'd like to have anything drawn, definitely hit me up. See if you like the stuff that I have on my coffee page. But yeah.
Awesome. Next, we've got Riley. What was your favorite part? Where can we find you next? And anything else you'd like to share?
What's my favorite part? I loved, like, in my mind when, like, we were all out searching for things and Pepper and Anastasia were talking. In my mind, it was just like in the game, like we're just like these game characters, like trying to jump on things and not being able to jump things, and they're just like watching us and talking, like, while we look like these like video game characters that are like,
We're
how
just
do I
glitching out?
yeah, just like glitching out, like somebody gets stuck in a corner, like that was entertaining in my brain. But I really like that. I really enjoyed the interaction Sid and Bambi had at the beginning. You can find me next on Saturday for Animus as well. And then online at Arieli Knits. I'm going to put my website out in the chat. And yeah.
Fantastic. And then we've got Rowan. Favorite part? Where can we find next? Anything else you want to share?
Hi, I'm Rowan North. I'm a freelance illustrator and art educator. And you'll next find me here on Wednesday, the next Wednesday, the one after this one. And my favorite part, honestly, was just, I have to say, the bear trap. I think it helped give color at that, and her interactions with Anastasia, because it felt like it's giving the world depth somewhat. like, here, this is like a legitimate world. This is, there's history here. This was their home, and Pepper has been around the block quite a few times. And just kind of building that up, and it's been really fun. So yes.
Awesome. And then Jasmine, what was your favorite part? Where can we find you next? Anything else you want to share?
Shoot, I had so many favorite parts. I think I really enjoyed the musical aspect that Bambi brought to the table. That was amusing personally. But I also really enjoyed her and Niklaus playing their game of cat and mouse. And I don't have an idea of how that's going to turn out, but it can't be good for anybody involved.
Nope.
You can find me next Friday morning running Neon Devils, which Raven is playing. You should come and check it out. The next episode is going to be killer.
Oh no, I don't like how you said that.
But you can also find me here next Wednesday, playing again in Exodus because this is my favorite. And then on my website, studiotart.com, where I have a whole bunch of TTRPG inspired artwork that's wearable. I just uploaded some really awesome roll for initiative or opportunity attacks masks, so you can stay safe in these dire, dark, and desperate times. And that's it. That's all I got.
They look really cool. You should definitely check them out. Cool. And then for me, my favorite part, I really like the fact that everybody got a chance to see just a tiny little glimpse of Klaus appearing. Niklaus's sort of chaotic evil alter ego versus his lawful evilness. And I also really enjoyed the part where Sid just like sidestepped Bambi. That was really great. But yeah, the whole thing was just a lot of fun. It was neat to see everybody's characters like with a little more life as we're getting into the swing of things and get a feel for their personalities. It was really cool to watch. And then yeah,
I'm really enjoying how that's coming together. It's everybody interacting with like some of the characters already knowing bits and pieces about the world versus these two new characters who have no idea.
Yeah,
Really
that's
fun.
always fun too. And you can find me next over on tomorrow over on Encounter Roleplay at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, GMing Sword of Kalos, which is an all Klingon crew campaign in Star Trek Adventures. It takes place right after, about 6 months after Deep Space Nine. And they're in the Gamma Quadrant trying to find the Sword of Kalos. And they're causing about as many problems as you could expect a crew of all Klingons searching for a sword in the Gamma Quadrant to do. It's pretty great. And they're going to be interacting with a lot of Ferengi tomorrow. So they've all been great episodes, but tomorrow is probably going to be a really fun one to watch for sure. And then Friday, I'll be on Neon Devils playing Cat Continuum with Yaz, and that campaign is so much fun. It's so cool. So you should definitely come watch that. And then Friday night, we're doing School Days, which is a Masks campaign, so I'll be producing that one. So that's it for the next few shows. There's more into the weekend as well. Yeah, and then other things to share. I mentioned Patreon earlier, so I'll mention that again. There's a lot of really cool stuff that's happening there. With the streaming schedule being a little less hectic and constant, I have more time to do more art and cool stuff for things that are not here. And a lot of that is on Patreon. So you can get a lot of high resolution art that I'm working on at just the coffee supporter. That's just $2 a month. And then you can also get access to soundtracks. So the soundtrack for Hunters of Calamity 2, Animus Absentus, and Water are currently available to download for content supporters, and that's $7.50 a month. And then everything above that gets credits towards viewer actions here. So, like the Bard tier, you get it's $15 a month, and you get $15 to spend on viewer actions. So you can throw out plot points, or crits, or a whole bunch of cool stuff like that. And it's full value basically. So you get all the cool stuff on Patreon, and you get the full value of the viewer actions too. So a lot of cool stuff there. And then an announcement that I am actively looking for art commissions and sensitivity reads and editing gigs, as I now have time to do it. So if you need some composite art done or graphic design, I'm currently actively looking for commissions there. I think that's everything I had to share, so we're going to go on a raid. Our raid cry is Kool-Aid Man our way out of a bear trap. You can copy it right there from chat, and we're going to go raid Milady Saito, who's doing some D&D. She's fantastic. Follow her if you're not doing so already, and everybody else that's on the cast over there. They're all fantastic people. Yeah, and then I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.